be cooking with my girl, the beautifully talented Paloma Ford, R&B sweetheart, has XTapes out, and now she's in the kitchen with me. I forced her. P, how are you?
I am lovely. How are you?
I'm great. So nice to see you. Look at you have a nice tan going, glowing.
Yes, girl. You know, I'm trying to get sun while I can.
I was just asking you before we went live, where were you? Because you were like in some type of water body, like river, I don't know, lake, what was it?
I went to a special place in Florida, and they have this like beautiful crystal spring river, and they have manatees that swim in the river and will just like float right past you, and they're like sea cows, so they're super nice, but they're huge, so they're a little
Intimidating still.
a little bit, but yeah, it was magical. It was very beautiful.
Are you able to actually swim in the water with them, or you just kind of leave them up to you?
I am in the spring. By the time we actually saw the manatees, we were in the middle of kayaking. Not like you're gonna jump out, like under kayak, but they literally swam like right under my kayak.
Wow, what a beautiful experience. I love things like that. I've swam with whale sharks out in Cancun. Such an amazing experience. These things are huge, and they're giants, okay? Like they're not sharks, they're not really gonna like bite you. But still, like I'm tiny as hell. I'm 5'3", and these things are huge, like a school bus in front of me. But they're just so beautiful, and it just really makes you appreciate, other forms of life. Like humans, we're not the only ones on this planet. Like it just humbles you, I guess, in a way. It makes you just appreciate everything.
It was an experience that I needed. Just remind myself that we're a small part of this.
How has quarantine been treating you thus far?
I have to be honest. I think for the most part, I cannot complain. I think been a blessing. We've been able to continue being creative and get the music out there. So I am appreciative of that.
Have you been cooking a lot more, less, or do you order out a lot? You said, do you cook a lot anyway to begin with?
By the way, my son is here. He's going to be helping me today. This is a rare appearance because I can never get him on camera, but he likes to cook, so he's going to assist me.
I love it.
I used to cook a lot more. I got a little bit lazy with cooking because my brother lives at my house, and he's really good at cooking.
So you let him do the cooking.
Yeah, so I've shied away from it, but it used to be very therapeutic for me. I usst to cook a lot. My son, what's your favorite dish of mine? Because people don't think that I know how to cook it.
Bro, I was about to ask him.
What? Tell him. Your salmon. Tell him.
Some salmon. With what? What else does she make it with? Salmon and what?
I don't even know. I don't question it.
Oh, what do I make it with that you like? What do I usually?
Usually edamame, broccoli, and
asparagus.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. Get some greens in there. Mama can cook. But look, if this is really true, okay? I feel like this was on my part. You said, let's try a pizza, right? And then my lazy ass was like, okay, we're going to do the cheap pizza, because this is true. Sometimes, especially now during quarantine, like you do get lazy, or there's just a lot going on, either like emotionally or whatever it may be. And it's not something that always has to be made from scratch. When I'm talking about the pizza cheat code, we're talking about the pizza cheat code, something that you already have in your freezer, and you could just spice it up in whichever way you want to. I have my veggies here, and something that I'm gonna try, that I've been wanting to try to see if it works out. I'm gonna add some turkey bacon to it.
Okay, turkey bacon.
What do you have?
We have some vegetables as well here. Stasi is cutting up a little pepper in the background.
Okay.
And then we do have some pepperoni, so we'll do like half pepperoni and half veggie.
Nice.
Yeah.
Have you tried this before? I actually, one of my favorite things to do is to add I do like a barbecue chicken pizza that's really, really bomb. The same way. Like I already get frozen pizza because a long time ago when I was a little girl, I tried to make pizza from scratch and I burned it and I felt like it left me traumatized. Seriously. So now I'm like, let's get the pizza cheat code. Let's just get you a frozen pizza as such.
No, and it's like you're still giving it your own personal flavors that you really, enjoy without having to, do the most.
Sometimes I also feel like it just tastes better, even if it's a frozen pizza that you're adding something to. Anything made from home is still so much better than ordering out because you still take your time with it. You pour out your love and your energy. I am such a huge believer in energy, and whatever energy you're in goes into the food. And if I'm mad, I won't cook because I know it's going to reflect in my dishes. Like I just know that.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about X tapes being out?
I am. Guys, do you want to help me start putting some of these on and bring that over here? Okay. I'm relieved. I'm happy that it's just finally out there circulating and people get a chance to finally see, what I've been working on. That I feel like you can also hear the time and the effort into it. So I'm happy.
I feel like actually before I get into X tapes a little deeper, I wanted you to maybe recall that moment that you first fell in love with music. Was it a certain song, an artist, or that moment that you were like, oh wow, like I like this?
It was when I was a child, watching Michael Jackson. When I was a little girl, my grandparents would film all of his specials. So I would always have Michael Jackson specials on videotape, and that's something that I watched obsessively. So for me it was very normal, that's just what I watched. But being a mom and having a son, seeing his interests and how much he doesn't care about that kind of stuff, just how special that was, and what that kind of turned into.
Right.
Started when I was 3, 4, 5, Michael Walker and Janet, and so I would have to say all back then. Were
you one of those little kids that would always try to perform in front of your family or your friends or anything like that?
It was always a show in my house.
How did your parents first react when you told them that this is something you wanted to pursue professionally?
I don't. If there was a reaction at all, I don't think it was ever a sit down conversation. That's very obvious,
Yeah.
It wasn't a shock to find about what I wanted to do, I think.
Do you recall though the moment that you actually said okay, I want to do this professionally, this is something that I actually want to pursue, what that defining moment was for you?
Put some of the banana peppers on. I think in high school finally, made a decision that I was like, okay, this is something that I really want to take seriously. How do I go about this? I stayed in choir and I did solo and ensemble competitions growing up, talent shows. But I hired a vocal coach my sophomore year, I believe. From my sophomore to my senior year, I started working with a coach. And want to do this side where we just do yours cheese and pepperoni, and then my side on veg.
I'm not big.
Oh, he's not a pizza person.
Oh, okay.
Do half and half. So yeah, I think it was in high school that I was like, okay, what do I need to do to start taking this to the next level? And the first step to me was to start taking lessons and really learning my voice and learning, you know, scales and yeah.
I think that was really an important factor because a lot of people just see things that they want to do or whatever it may be, and don't take the time to practice the craft and really invest in what goes behind the making of someone being great or even being able to be in that place. And I think it's a matter of respect as well, right? Because I feel like now you see a lot of like overnight successes, and that's not to take away from them. You know, you see a lot of artists that pop off on SoundCloud, and that's not to take away from their journey, but you also see them not last long because I feel like they haven't gone through that experience. They haven't put in the hours. They don't know the true value of it, you know? And so I feel like it adds texture and part of your fabric, really. Now, when you first started, you got an opportunity to work with Macey Gray. How was that? How did that even happen?
It was, you know, I was still a teenager. It was just kind of right place, right time.
Okay.
Wasn't like I was like called to the studio. It just happened to be in there with some girlfriends. And, you know, when I was introduced to everyone, it was like this Paloma, she's a singer. And I think her backup singers couldn't make it that night, you know, background down.
Yeah.
And she was like, "You think that you could do it?" And I was like, "Oh yeah." And so I was so scared. It was a plant, and
You said it was a record plant. Your audio is kind of chopping off.
yeah,
Record plant.
it was that record plant, and you know, she liked me enough to invite me back, and you know, I ended up doing 2 more songs on the album, and the rest.
How was that day though? Like being in that studio. Like, do you recall like that moment sitting there? Were you intimidated at all? Who else was there?
I was so scared. I was so scared. I remember being like, "Please don't sing the wrong note. Please don't sing the wrong note." In my head, I remember singing it, and I think I was in the studio till about 5 and I
5
called.
in the morning, you said?
I'm sorry.
You said 5 in the morning?
Yeah.
Long hours.
Yes, I was in there till about 5 a.m. And I remember when I left the studio that night, I called my mom and I was like, because she lived in Ohio and 3 hours ahead. And I was like, "Mommy, I just left the studio with Macey Gray. This is crazy. This is happening." And yeah, that was a pretty amazing moment. I had no idea what that would turn into, or you know, even what it meant at the time. Like, I was just happy.
What about now, reflecting back on that time? You know, that obviously that was like one of like your first major times in a studio. How are you now in the studio? Do you feel more comfortable? Do you still get a little bit nervous? Like, or is it just a matter of finding, you know, like your own zone, like knowing now it's like, oh, I got this.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's like home now. I think that reflecting back on it, it was just kind of like, it was giving me a glimpse of what my life was going to turn into. Because I definitely, you know, I kept on having little moments and tastes of success and of the industry, you know, but I was still finding my way and trying to figure out who Paloma Ford was as an artist herself. You know,
Right.
doing that, it was like, I want to sing, I want to be famous, I want, you know, I want to be like my idols, but didn't really know, you know, well, first of all, that it's a business.
Oh my gosh, isn't it? Has it been really, I would say frustrating, you know, I think as an artist, people create and you're pouring out your heart and your soul into your work. Do you feel like you've been overlooked in the industry since you started, P?
I mean, some people feel that way. I definitely used to feel that way more so. I don't feel that way now. I feel that time and that, you know, everybody's journey is so different. And
Yeah.
I think that personally, I had to do things that so that I'm able to give the message that, I'm giving now. So I, kind of let go of those type of feelings. But sure, it's to get caught up in that and feel that way.
Of course, especially with so much going on. But you've arrived, you're here, we have X tapes. And I think that the title of the EP is self explanatory, right? It talks about loss, heartbreak, love, of course, which I think a lot of people can relate to. But what does X tapes mean to you personally, Paloma?
It's releasing, those emotions and memories of the past that we went through in a healthy way. That's what art is all about, is transmuting that energy. So that's what it was like. Okay, yes, it is about my exes, but not in a negative way. It's just like these, personal emotions that I feel like are so relatable, that, especially when be able to relate to, but all, everyone, like everybody's experienced heartbreak.
Everybody has experienced heartbreak, and what I love about X tapes is that it feels like a full story to me from the beginning to the end. Was there any particular song though that for you was either harder to make or to actually record? Because it's one thing when like you're penning it down and you're writing it, but it's like almost as if you're having to relive those moments and recalling, like even nights I cry, like I was like, girl, like reliving those moments, but even embracing them at the same time, right? And not being like, oh, I'm holding these grudges towards it, but still, there's still raw feelings that either you're tapping back into. Was there any song that made that happen for you? Let's put these in the oven. Is your oven ready?
Yes, my oven is ready. I'm gonna sprinkle it with the last goodness.
What are you putting on there?
This is parsley. Adding a little bit of parsley to the pepperoni side. Let's get a good view of what ours is looking like. We've got the veggies over here and the pepperoni on this side. And now we're ready to put it in the oven.
I'm gonna have to make sure I watch the time because I burned a pizza or two in my lifetime.
We fancy, and we have our pizza stone.
I feel like it happens to everybody.
Stone.
What was that?
Have a pizza stone. Can you hear me?
Oh, let me see it.
So you heat this up.
Okay.
And then I'm going to put the pizza on it, and then I put it in the oven.
Wow.
So it's going to give a pizza a little...
You just put me in
oven quality, baby.
Some stone pizza.
Listen, I feel
like I need to go on Amazon and buy me a pizza stone because I feel unequipped right now.
Girl, let me see. I think I touched. Okay, are we good?
You're fine. That's perfect. Going back to the track, what was the track that made you get back in your feelings again?
Nights I Cry was a heavy one.
I love it. It's one of my favorites, actually. What was it about it? Was it just like reminiscing literally those nights?
Why Nights I Cry was a heavy one is Jasmine, who wrote it with me, her and I were both in this just like heavy, sad energy. And, I remember driving to the studio, loading that up, and it just wasn't much conversation.
Right.
Just started writing, and we don't even write. So it's more like, we just started laying melody down and the song, and that's what came out. And I think out of all those songs, that one was just like something that I feel a lot, because it was like, this was, how I feel.
There you go, just letting it out. Does that become therapeutic for you afterwards, or like even during that process?
Yes, very. Like I said, doing an interview the other day, and she was asking like any regret any of the song or something that I couldn't listen to or because of what I'm talking about, and I don't feel that way because that's that's what I'm using it for. Start seeing other people relate to it, and it brings on a whole new life and a whole new energy.
Right.
Just this like pain emotion that you went through, but now it's like, okay, I see how it's like helping other people. And I don't really, I'm not like a dweller.
Right.
I like to be happy.
Right.
I listen to music, but I don't try to go back to the
To
actual.
those times. It's almost like making peace, I feel. And I think that that's really important with whatever it may be, whether it's an ex or anything in your life. Like you have to come to this moment where you make peace with things. Otherwise, like it just consumes you and it brings on like this negative energy. And I also think that even like your song Space in X tapes, like I think that that's also of it. It's like, even like when you're needing that space or wanting to be near that person, it's also about respecting that space and time that you had with that person, whether it was good or bad. I personally believe that there's a learning lesson in everything and every experience that we have in life, no matter what it is. Like you have to take the good and the bad, and you have to be willing to see past and beyond. What were some of the lessons that you've learned through love, heartbreak, and most of all, I feel like it's your resiliency, because you talk about that too.
Yeah, I think more than anything, just showing myself like how resilient I can be, and um, you know, us women, we carry so much, and more than not, normally we're internalizing it, especially as being a mom, because you're like, okay, I don't even have time to be too sad because I got to worry about what's going on over here. I got to keep, this going on over here. So I think, I think, you know, recording this, finishing this project, being over here with him, and then it, I was frustrated a lot of times because it was like, I need to put my music out now. Like I need, and then it was just one thing after another that was like forcing the, me to take more time on it.
Yeah.
And now I see why, like every time it was delayed, it just made, the project a little bit better.
Yeah.
So yeah, just that resilience. You said it, you nailed it. It's like we are resilient. We can get through these. We can transmute this energy. We can, um, you know, just keep pushing through. And a lot of times, like it's like right where you want to stop. If you just push past that,
Just a little bit. That's where greatness is at.
like right on that other side.
It's literally right on the other side. We're talking about that being resilient. You literally talk about it in All for Nothing, which features Rick Ross. Tell me how you came to bring Rick Ross on the project and why you chose him, and how is that relationship with Rick Ross? I love Rick. Like, he's awesome.
Yeah. So we finished the project, mixed and mastered everything, and a couple weeks before supposed to drop, we had a team meeting, and they asked me kind of out of nowhere. I didn't really expect them to, because I personally, this is only my second EP, and so many people know me for features that I've done.
Yep.
So, when it comes to my personal projects, I don't even think about,
Reaching out.
who I want to work with. I
Yep.
on like how I can make, the best music by myself. And they asked me if there was any artists that I could hear on any of the records. And Rick Ross was just like, he was just kind of vibrating on that nothing. Like my brother felt the same way. We were just like, we just hear him. And I don't know, I say Maybach in the song, and that was, you know, written way before we thought of Rick Ross. But it just, he felt like he would compliment, and how I felt personally. And he heard the song and he was like, let's do it.
I love it. I think it turned out great. And again, listening to the entire project, we're talking about heartbreak, and a lot of people can't relate to it, but some people are lost, like don't know how to deal with it, even if it's their first time. Hopefully it's their first and their last time, because heartbreak hurts. Okay, when they call it a heartbreak, it literally, you feel your heart shattering, and it sucks. It really sucks. What would your advice be to anyone out there going through a heartbreak right now?
My advice to, you know, people want to try to get past the pain. And I think that, you know, the pain is actually an important part of the process. And to, it's okay to like acknowledge that, you know, and give yourself time for that, but don't let it consume you. And, you know that life does go on. You know? And also things are temporary.
Woo!
I think that sometimes, you know, we get so caught up in the moment of being like, oh my God, like we're breaking up. This is forever. You know, like
it's over.
And I think being able to just try to take things one day at a time, not look, you know, so far ahead in the future, and be present. That's like a big part of it too, you know. And I always, when I'm sad, I always allow myself to have like a day of sadness, you know. But today, go ahead, girl, just be sad, cry.
If you want to eat a pizza, eat a pizza. We're not sad, but this is some breakup food right here. Let me tell you, when we're going through it, like pizza, ice cream, chocolate, whatever it is, give it. I need it all. I need all of it to make me feel better.
But just don't let that go on forever. Don't let you know, because then you're allowing, you know, this other, you know, energy that's not you to consume you. And meanwhile, that might be, you know, living their best life. You should be living your best life too. And who's to say that you know, that those circles might not come back around?
You really never know what awaits for you. For me, luckily, like I can't really say that I have an ex where it's like unresolved feelings or I need closure or anything like that. It's like I have no bad feelings towards you. I wish you all the best of luck and everything. I'm blessed to be able to be like, when I was done with them, I was done with them. I was just like, on to the next. Like it's not it. And looking back though, like I still appreciate those times and those moments, because again, like they did teach me lessons. It taught me a lot about myself too that I didn't really realize, you know. And also during that heartbreak, there was only one of my exes that I went through a heartbreak because he cheated on me, and then I stayed with him for 2 years after that, which is another thing that now I could really truly say I will never be that girl again, because I know what that did to me. I know how much that hurt me inside, and it did more damage. Like sometimes you stay trying to fix things, and it's like I was never the one who broke this. Right. And even if he hadn't cheated on me, it wouldn't have worked out. Like he just was not it for me. He was so unmotivated, and it was just like, we are going in two different directions, boo. Like it wouldn't have worked out. So it's almost like thank you, but no thank you, because I didn't want to really feel that pain.
Yeah, and I think sometimes the universe does, you know, allows, I should say, for those type of situations to happen, because you already see that, you know, that person's not aligned with you.
No.
Sometimes it has to be, bless you. It has to be so blatant and in our face for us to, you know, get the point.
And sometimes I swear the universe will send you planes, bombs, everything, and you still like, nope, ignoring every single red flag. Nope, I don't see anything. I have those rose-colored glasses on. I'm in love, and you don't want to see things. It's like, I don't want to see it. And even now, though, like I think about this all the time. I know because I have dealt with heartbreak, and you have too. That it is serious, though, because it is something that can really be crushing to a lot of people. Some people don't know how to pick up, and I think about things now, especially. I feel like we're in an extremely weird, heavy place in life right now. There's a lot of different things going on left and right every single day. I personally think that we're in like a detox type of moment, that we need a much needed detox. A lot of things are being brought up and in light, that have been going on for a lot of years. And sometimes I think about, like, on top of that, what people are dealing with internally, like with personal, emotional issues, mental issues, whatever it may be. We have seen a lot of protests going on, and we saw what happened with the NBA and a lot of different professional teams, athletic teams. And being that you are a mom and you have your son right next to you, and you're a mother of a young Black king in America, how does that feel? What conversations do you have with your son?
What conversations do we have about how do you feel going on right now? You don't know?
I mean,
I think yeah, there's a lot going on. I think that just being open, transparent, and just being open to conversation. I think that there's enough going on in the media to where, I don't have to have sounds with him. And he's very, very, I think kids now are very aware of what's going on. But more so just having an open dialogue, you know what I mean? So, because the truth is, we don't really know what's going on. And, I think that there's like you said, there's a lot of different happening at once. It's very, very scary, but I think that this is nothing new.
Nope.
And, it's just kind of the veil being lifted, things are being exposed, because now it's right in our faces. Thank you, baby. What did you make? Come over here.
Let me see, what do you make?
You made us.
Oh my gosh, how cute. I'm jealous. I haven't got a kid.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm going to cheers with some water. What'd you put in there?
It's obviously, you can see 2 strawberries, seltzer water, and then it's a green that is over there, plus on a little toothpick. That's
so fancy. I love it. That is awesome. Look at you. This is why you don't need to cook or make drinks or anything, because you're just taken care of.
Yeah.
Does it become a challenge for you balancing, again, still being mom 24/7, because that never stops? It's never like I'm going to pause this, and also pursuing and following your dreams of being an artist. Like, how do you manage to balance both?
Girl, it's a never-ending struggle. I'm so thankful for my tribe, so thankful for my family.
It's a village.
Yeah. At one point, they didn't live as close. My brother didn't live out here. My mom didn't live out here. And so for a long time, it was. And, he was coming to my sessions, and, having a young boy, a toddler in your sessions, trying to keep them chill, and then running in the booth and recording. I mean, that was a lot. And that's probably also why, things have taken a little bit more time. Because at the end of the day, as a mom, you have to put it first. You have to.
That's a priority.
And that's just what it is for me. So I think, there was a lot of time between, putting my first project out and this one, because I have been balancing, and I'm an independent artist. So that requires even more. Oh,
I'm gonna check on the pizza really quick. Make sure I'm not burning it, P. Hold on. I think my pizza could possibly be done. Don't quote me. Hold on. I'll do pizza.
I'd be a little heavy. You baby.
I think my pizza's done.
A great timer. Ooh. Really good. First of all, let's try.
What
Huh?
what is next for you? What can I know obviously we're during a pandemic, it makes things a little bit hard, like to be able to go and perform, but also a lot of artists have had to get acclimated with everything that's going on and readjust, I would say, either with like performing on Zoom or whatever it may be. Like what do you have coming up? Are you working on anything, or what would you like to do?
No, we're definitely we're in the process of putting a live show together for this first project. I'm also in the middle of finishing XTapes Part 2 because there is a Part 2 to this.
Oh, okay. Part 2. When can we expect that?
Definitely in the fall.
Okay. You're like, give me some time. You said, give me some time.
I want to be honest and say probably sometime in October.
Okay.
We have a few more things to, push, and like I have the Ross video that we just shot that's going to be coming out, a few more visualizers. So I'm doing that, and like I said, we're in the middle of figuring out like what the best space is and how we want to this live show, because we did have certain plans before everything shut down. So just readjusting to that. But yes, XTapes Part 2. I'm
excited for that. We'll be a lookout in October. I finished my pizza. Your pizza is done. It's hot as hell. The last thing that I like to do, I don't know if I'm weird. I tell everybody, like, I love this garlic sauce. Like, Lori should pay me.
You said what?
They need to pay me for this, okay? Because, look, this is the secret sauce right here. Pay us.
Sauce in our house.
What was that?
I'm going to show you our secret sauce at our house.
Show me. And then I also, the slap yum. You know what? I got that in New Orleans a while ago, and I ran out, and then I haven't found it anywhere else. But somebody told me they sell it like at Ralph's.
My father has put that on everything forever. My family, we're from Long Beach. Shout out to Long Beach.
LBC in the house.
His family from Texas, Louisiana. So, they got all the spices down there, and before he could find them out here, he would always bring all the spices back here. All the, like rubs and everything.
Everything. But no, that garlic sauce. You know what? I need to try to see, because somebody told me, like I said, that Slap Yo Mama is at Ralph's. I feel like somebody's lying to me, but I gotta check it out. Wait, actually, I'm not done with this. All right, my pizza's done. Look at this.
Yes.
Now we gotta do a little show and tell. You see it?
Yes. No, I don't want to slap your mama on the pizza.
I'm gonna finish cutting it. Before I let you go and I let you enjoy your pizza lunch with your son, what advice would you give a young Paloma Ford?
If I could give a young Paloma Ford advice, it would just to just believe in yourself and trust yourself more than anybody else. More than anybody else, not everybody is blessed with a clear vision of who they are and what they want to be in life, and that was something that I felt like I always had since I was a little girl. And sometimes, not even on purpose, you allow you know, other people to come in and, you know, they give you their idea of what they think you should be and what they think you should do. And I think that the best thing, you know, always in life is to, you know, go within and trust yourself. And yeah, so I would say that.
I love that, P. You know why? Because I feel especially in this industry and more so with women than men, they try to shape women into something that they're not. They try to create this vision of what they think the look should be or the sound should be, or you need to be you need to have more sex appeal or whatever it may be, which is fine because I love, especially what right now what's going on with women. It feels so empowering, right? Like there's a lot of men that I feel are very insecure, and that's why they got a lot to say, because it wasn't saying nothing about the same misogynistic messages that have been in music, and not just in hip hop and rap, just all the way around, that have been blasted throughout centuries, and never it was an issue. But the minute that women want to speak up and say what they got to say, oh, now it's a problem. Oh, they're being too vulgar, or they're doing too much. But when they're doing it to your taste, to your liking, it's cool. But it's like, no, we're not going to have that. And if a woman chooses to put that out or do whatever it is that she wants to do, that's great. But I also feel that there are a lot of women that allow the industry to make them into something they're not, or to make them think like you have to be sexier, you have to show your boobs more, you have to be out there shaking your butt or whatever it may be, or you're not going to sell. And sometimes it sucks because that's what happens. You know what I mean? But it's really beautiful to know and to see artists that do know who they are and won't allow the chatter in the industry to change who they are.
So difficult, and like you said, like I'm very, very inspired by, you know, these up and coming young female artists that, you know, they've taken the rap game especially by storm. And you know, you can say what you want, but what you can't say is that these girls don't have confidence.
Well, man, I love it.
Going through such a period of, like you said, suppression of confidence and suppression of women in general in the industry, I live for it, and I feel like I was re-inspired and reactivated. And you know, I'm not out there in that way, but I want to be confident and in my sensuality. And if I want to, you know, look like a, you know, like if I want to look like a supermodel one day and a boy the next day, like it's okay. It's all okay. You know, if you want to feel sexy and be sexy, if you want to wear a bikini in a picture and then the next day you want to be fully clothed, like all of that should be okay.
Of course.
And that, you know, that is something that is happening, is women just reclaiming, you know, our own power and, you know, setting boundaries of like, okay, this is what we want, and this is what we're, you know, this is what we're going to allow, and this is what you're not going to, you know, take away from us.
Absolutely, beautifully said. I love you so much, P. A lot of people probably don't know how we even came to be friends, and I think it's just like the universe. We were working together, and I will never forget. It was just you and I. We were in the shop, and I remember it was the first time I ever worked with you, so I just kind of wanted to know. And I was like, oh, well, like, what do you do? What else do you do? And you were telling me that you're a singer, and I remember listening to your music and sitting there like, oh my God. And I remember talking about your baby. He was so little at that time. And now look how tall he is.
I know. It's so crazy. And I tell the story all the time about the shop, because I'm like, that, like, whether we realize it, you know, then or not, it was kind of a magical time, because everybody in there is doing such great things now. You know, all of the women that we were in, that were in the shop were just like, you know, we all kind of like took off and did way much more professional things.
Hey, look, I remember though, like, I don't care what nobody says, like, we really helped some patients. Let me just say that, okay? Some people that really, really needed it, and I still believe in that, and it's healing powers, because
all the time, Ayydé, that is, you know, because I just got interviewed by High Times, and you know, people can take cannabis one way or the other, and you know, I understand, because it's been also suppressed in the, you know, in the
years.
long, but I always tell the story of how cancer patients used to come in there and I
Legit.
had conversations with them, and they were telling me that they would opt out of their chemotherapy and for cannabis, and that helped with their pain. And that was a huge turning point for me personally on how I view, when I'm speaking to, my grandfather died of cancer, and when I'm speaking to people during it was like, wow, like, okay, I do it. I think it's cool, and I like to, be creative.
Yeah.
It's something that is actually, like helping you cope with pain. And some patients are terminal, and so yeah, I always tell that story.
No, it's very true, and like you said, it's something that I feel it makes sense if you really stop and think about it, right? It's been demonized because all of these big, huge pharmaceuticals don't want cannabis to succeed, because if cannabis succeeds, and I think about this one patient that would always come in, and she told me that she used to have to take at least like 10 prescriptions a day. I forgot what illness she had, but she said one day her niece had her smoke a joint and she felt so much better. So she eliminated all those prescriptions. So now you see why these big pharmaceuticals have had such this hate for it, because yeah, if one joint takes away all of your 12 prescriptions, then you're not making money. It's all a big business for everyone, but it's come such a long way. I will forever defend it. And like you said too, like I understand the other concerns and risks involved, like I can't fully sit here and say, oh no, it's not a gateway drug for other people, because I mean, it wasn't for me, but that doesn't mean that I'm the same for everybody else, that my journey is going to be the same, and I just more so truly believe in its healing powers, that it does help at least, or cope. There was also this young boy that was really in my life. His name is Julian, and he passed away 2 years ago.
I followed your yes.
And even that, like I used to get him CBD oils, and it would help after his chemo, because it's something that is really rough. It's really hard. And not all cancer patients like weed either, because my mom also passed away from cancer and she didn't like it. They tried to smoke her out. She's like, I'm not with it. Right. She wasn't about it. But I think everybody has their own journey with it, but it's crazy to see how far we have come in our own journeys. It's amazing. And I'm just so very proud of you, P, and keep at it. I think you are shining, you are glowing. I love to see you win. It's amazing. And I love to see you be a mommy. It's crazy how big your son is right now.
I know. That's why I said it's funny, because, like I'll get on live every once in a blue moon, and, people ask me about my son and they're like, oh, she doesn't show him. She doesn't want to, and I'm like, listen, this boy he's a full-grown man in his mind. He has no like want to do pictures in video. Like I asked him, I'll leave you with this. It's really funny. I'm doing like little interviews and like kind of like personal like documentary style things for my right now, and I asked Doug if he wanted to interview me, and I was like, I think it would be really cool for my fans to see, because
production
close, and it's something that I keep private, and I'm happy that it's definitely been good to have this piece of my life be private and sacred, but when I asked him to interview me, I was like, they'll just hear your voice. We don't even have to put you on camera. And he's like, what did you say, Stasi?
As long as
no, he said, can I voice changer? He's like, I would like to remain anonymous.
Oh my God.
Voice changers are funny.
Bye.
The whole point. You can't change it.
You can't be anonymous.
It's like, so I'm actually, I didn't expect him to, want to help me on live, but I'm really, really happy that he did.
Well, thank you so much. I'm so honored that you shared this moment with us and you came on camera. I feel special. I feel very special to have your presence with us.
Thank you.
Any last words? Anything you would like the world to know about your mommy that most people probably don't?
I don't know.
What do you love the most about your mama?
I guess that we're so like.
Oh, you guys are so cute. I want to let you guys enjoy your lunch. Thank you so much, P. I enjoyed you. I wish you the best. Can you let everybody know where they can find you and where they can stream XTapes?
Yes.
XTapes available on all platforms.
What's your Instagram for everybody that doesn't know?
All my socials are Paloma Ford. And like I said, XTapes 2 is coming soon. We got more visuals for you. I love you, Ayydé. I'm so grateful for you. And you've always been supportive of me. Here is this pizza. My mom's tasting good. So we're about to get our lunch on.
Enjoy. I love you so much, P. Take care.
You too. Bye.
Thank you. Oh, that was my Paloma Ford. All right, you guys, I'm gonna enjoy this pizza myself. I'm pretty sure my boyfriend is upstairs wondering where his lunch is at. I've been chit-chatting, but I have to do a taste test. I feel like I could have probably put the turkey bacon. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna keep it 100. Could have put it in there a little bit longer, but let's see. Oh my God. Next time, I'm going to do the turkey bacon and add pineapple because I love Canadian bacon and pineapple pizza. Don't hate on me. And if you're one of those people, you're probably not going to want to tune in for that episode. And there you have it. That's the pizza cheat code. Yes, we've whipped out frozen pizzas, added some veggies on there, and it's... Whoop. Put that right back on there. Oops. Amazing. Thank you guys for watching.